in my mind, it would have been nice to make everybody retrofit and put an enclosure, but we couldn't go that far. And so I guess it's up to folks individually. If they think there are people dumping stuff in their dumpster, they have to decide if there's a way to fix it. It's either going to be cameras, or maybe a lock, as Dale said, or maybe put an enclosure. But the city ended up not mandating that. Going backwards, if we did going forward, you got to have a dumpster enclosure. So hopefully some of this is rectified with the cart system. So again, this probably could have or should have been written up, because none of these garbage cans are on the stands. It's there. Again, here's where there is a dumpster, but you can see there's a lot of policing of the area that has to be done. So there is a responsibility of somebody to clean up property, even if there is a dumpster, make sure things are cleaned up. So there is, I'm going to get some hopeful slides here pretty soon, believe it or not. Again, here's just my example again of where there probably were elm trees here 30 years ago, and I'm just imploring people to think about the future, and let's figure out a way to get some trees planted throughout the city in areas that are multifamily, single family. This wasn't to show, this was, I think we actually did have the satellite dishes removed here. But these are illegal satellite dish installations. So the common themes were lack of architectural detail, no real usable green space, garbage facilities were inadequate, we had parking issues, really no stormwater. And again, coupled with this is this whole movement towards a stormwater utility and handling stormwater on site. We have a lot of areas in the city that have street flooding problems, whole areas that perhaps used to be a neighborhood that are now a surface parking lot by one of our institutions. So I think everybody has to do their part. Even nonprofits have to pay a stormwater utility fee. So we've had some of these projects were kind of at the time we were developing these. This is one of Brian Betz's properties over by the Turbo. Again, I think we're seeing some landscaping, a little more curb appeal. This is another, I think this is one of his projects too. I think this is a 5-bedroom, single-family home. I don't think it went through design standards because it's a single-family home, but it's a 5-bedroom. So anything in the city that's a duplex or more has to go through design review. We also have commercial design review standards. When we finished these, we sat down with some architects and contractors and came up with some commercial design standards that fairly mirror the multifamily standards. Now what we're going to do is, rather than have two separate code sections, we're going to merge these two, and then we'll just specify the differences. So we're trying to shorten up our code book by 25 pages by merging the two documents. But a lot of the standards, then I'm going to pass these around, and then I'm going to quickly go through them on the screen here. This is a rain garden. Again, this is kind of before the ordinance. The ordinance would not allow these gas meters, because what we hear, the gas company, well, we have to put them here. This is the only place we can put them. So what we would require is screening of these. So as you're driving down the street, you don't see 12 gas meters. But the rain garden theme, again, gets you landscaping, it gets you some stormwater. We're taking roof water and putting it beneficially back and reducing, hopefully, a stormwater utility bill at the same time. So if you have a property and you're paying a stormwater utility bill, rain barrels help, but they're not going to help much if you want to reduce your stormwater utility bill. If you think you can go retrofit any of your properties and do a rain garden, that the city has a formula and a form that you fill out, reviewed by the engineering department, and you can get a reduction in your stormwater utility bill based on how much water, based on a calculation to go into a rain garden. This is Gerard's project on West Avenue in Maine. Again, before the standards were adopted, but these kind of utility boxes might not be there. But again, you can see the rain garden aspects to that. Trying to control stormwater runoff. And and what normally would have been, this just would have all been grass in the past. And so I think it landscapes the building a little bit, takes that roof water and recharges and helps the storm sewers out. One of the other things is just putting residential lighting. I mean, we're building residential buildings, but we're putting industrial lighting on residential buildings. And I think the one on the right is Brett Sawyer's, one of his projects. So again, a little attention to detail is what we're also trying to achieve with this. This was, again, an early project. This is Brett Sawyer. Again, my perennial complaint, not one tree in this neighborhood. But a little bit of landscaping. He did hardy plank. The new ordinance would have required, to hide this a little better. But I think getting these kind of freeze boards in and a little bit bigger overhangs is what we're trying to achieve. And then I'm gonna pass these out, and then you can just kind of glance through them and circulate them. And